And we are live. It's late. It's probably going to be a short one. Good evening. How's everybody doing? All right. I knocked over these nice little pictures. All right. So I didn't really have a lot of time tonight to put together too much. What's that doing?
They've announced.
All right, hold on.
And the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
What is that? Messages. There we go. All right, cool. Pretty good when it comes on. And we are going to start off with some weird stuff here. It's going to be kind of fun. I came across a bunch of these. I know this is old, but it's just weird. And we may as well just go over it. So this was Vanity Fair. This was 8 years ago. This is Crazy Nicole Kidman. 8 years younger. She looks pretty old these days. And apparently a secret talent is eating insects. That's what a secret talent is. There's quite a lot of weird ones that I came across. And then I'm going to just go ahead and say rare footage of 1950s housewife on LSD looks oddly familiar to Roseanne Barr. I mean, if that's not her mom, I would be surprised. Did it move it? No, it didn't.
Material.
I'm a little nervous, perhaps.
Well, I think that's normal. Well, I think it's time for you to have your lysergic acid. Drink this down, and we'll be back after a while and see how you're doing.
This is a glass of water, colorless, tasteless. It contains 100 gamma of LSD-25, 1/10 of a milligram, the equivalent of 1/600th of a grain. An ounce of this material will make 150,000 such doses.
Well,
let us observe the effect some 3 hours later.
Well, tell me.
Well, I just couldn't. I couldn't possibly tell you. It's here. Can't you feel it? This whole room. This everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules. I'm part of it. Can't you see it?
I'm trying.
do you see?
Oh, it's just like you're released or you're free, or I don't know how I can tell you.
No, they didn't even have any acid techno to play to really get the brain going.
How do you feel inside?
Inside.
Yeah, inside? Everything's
I'm even inside.
Is it all one?
It would be all one if you weren't here, and if nobody else. Yes, everything is one. You have nothing to do with it. I am one with what I am.
She has her own fractal, which kind of makes metaphysical sense in a sense. Metaphysical sense in a sense.
I can see everything in color. Everything.
We can't.
You have to see the air. You can't believe it. And And the dimensions and all the prisms and the rays and everything coming down through you and moving.
What does this all mean to you?
I've never seen such infinite beauty in my life. It's like a curtain or a spider web. Can you see it? It's right here in front of me, right now. Watch. No. Oh, good heavens. You know what went through me? It passed right through me.
Could you feel it?
Me? There isn't any me.
That's the recording making that noise. Let's just. I mean, that's like dead ringer, Roseanne. In my opinion, I'm not saying it's related, but she looks very, very much a lot like her actually.
Or aren't these the right words?
What seems pleasant or unpleasant? There isn't anything pleasant or unpleasant. It's too beautiful. It's how can you think it? I mean, can't you feel it? Everything is so beautiful and lovely and alive. You shouldn't say anything about anything not being. This is reality. This is. If you look right over there. Are you looking? Can you?
Yes.
Technicolor, or let you see? Can you? Did you say you can see it?
No, I can't quite see it. Tell me about it.
I can't.
Wait till it shifts gears on you. And it's catatonic despair.
I can't tell you about it. If you can't see it, then you'll just never know it. I feel sorry for you.
Dr. Cohen discusses the LSD state with philosopher Gerald Hurd.
Now, Gerald, I know you have great personal experience with lysergic acid.
Who told you?
What do you think of it?
To do that in 2 minutes, eternity in an hour. It's almost impossible, of course, as all the patients say, to describe it.
I love that ergot. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a couple, experiences with it, but the vast majority has been with that silly stuff, that psilocybin. And apart from the one time I had the Oregon ones that only grow off of alder wood. Typically, it's usually what its favorite thing is. It's one of the most potent, and I didn't know what I was, getting handed at a party. The guy had like a huge flat of Tupperware, and he was just handing it out. And yeah, that was less than a wonderful experience because there was 500 people at that house party, and I would have had a better time if I hadn't been, But the other experiences I've had have been pretty fun and learned something. I think the whole point of doing that type of thing is that you're on a quest. You're trying to get a deeper understanding. It kind of selects you to be on that quest. And once you realize you're on it, you want to be on it. So if you feel an inner peace, a better understanding of things, something that feels tangible, you'll be more inclined to want to experience that again to see if there's some meaning to it that can be applied to just inner peace in life, because you know this life ends, or so it seems in the material form. So any glimpse at something that assures you that that's not the end of everything, I think it has its own appeal to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why, I guess, again, you know, you can't polish a turd, but if you have the capacity for that, and you have whatever the spirit is that you're supposed to have within you, it's not beaten out of you and you didn't sell it off to some wicked demonic purpose, then it can really enhance your life when you're not on it too, for quite a long period of time. And every once in a while you venture back to it and you do it again and you remind yourself, and it's kind of a good feeling. And if you grow your own to have this experience, there's a whole like symbiotic relationship from start to finish, because you nurtured it into life and then you take it. So it's kind of, I think there's already like a bond there. See, fungi is a really strange thing, because if we're to believe everything we're supposed to believe about nature and consciousness, then why is it that a fungi would have what we would, I guess, classify as human psychiatric, you know, elements to it, unless it was intended to draw that, you know, draw that from you, so that you're kind of communing with nature or with something greater that was left there for you. And, you know, it's just kind of that weird thing. Like if it was a perfectly mapped out video game or something, and this was one of the quests, like you stumble upon this and then you kind of level up a little bit or whatever. I think LSD kind of takes it and maybe adds an element of the unnatural. And I think it might have it has the potential, I think, to be a little bit more sinister than psilocybin. Maybe it's just because it's a manufactured chemical, even though it's still from ergot. But as far as the psilocybin, it seems more pure.
Only say it isn't, it isn't, it isn't. Trying to tell people what it is.
Yeah. So there's that.
Well, Jim was
Jim Morrison's father and sister. I didn't even know they had interviewed these guys, but this is Admiral Morrison. You know what he's famous for? Helping stage the the Gulf of Tonkin lie that got us into World War II. It was his boat. I mean, I got us into what did I say that for? It got us into Vietnam.
intelligent, bright young man, and behaved himself pretty well, really.
Kind of strange how all these influencers in the music scene that were kind of promoting a certain drug life and a certain lifestyle, the quote-unquote counterculture that was awfully orchestrated by military intelligence, all would have some sort of family that were either federal agents, military intelligence. You have this guy here as the admiral. I don't think it was all happenstance and coincidental.
And he liked to write and draw pictures.
He was an avid reader. He read everything, and then he also wrote. He would write he had a book, and this was in high school, he would learn a new word and then he'd write a whole story around it. So his vocabulary was incredible.
Good morning, Turkey.
He liked all the classics
Surf Jockey.
and read everything he could get his hands on. And he was always delighted to go to his grandmother's house because she had a library.
One time he just got up out of class and told his teacher he was going to have a brain tumor removed. And he just walked out of class to go read. When he graduated from high school, he asked my parents for the complete works of Nietzsche. Most kids want a car. I think my brothers and I were pretty close because we moved a lot. So whenever we moved, we were just the ones we knew.
The life that I lived as a naval officer required that you to have a period ashore and a period at sea, which meant that probably half the time I was gone. I tried to make him feel
Yeah,
like
he was no slouch. He wasn't enlisted. He was a freaking admiral. And you can look at the guy and say, oh, look, it's a nice, innocent old man. But he did what he was told. I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin thing is the excuse that they used. They were just going to make some excuse up, but that was the excuse that they used. A lot of American lives.
he was the head of the household, and he tried to take care of his mother while I was gone. He went on all the ships that I served in. It was clear that while he had some admiration for the Navy and the fact that I was in it, but he didn't have any interest in it himself to be a sailor or to be an officer.
He was 3 years older, but 4 years in grades. So by the time I was in high school, he was in college.
I thought he would have a success because he was smart and creative and could write well. We were delighted he went to college. He started it out in Florida. I wanted to get him to go to graduate school. We had read, of course, about the film school at UCLA, and I was looking forward to his graduating and going into Hollywood.
So I just thought he would be a beatnik and be poor all his life. I even spent one whole night crying about it, worrying that no one was going to ever realize his talent, because I knew he wouldn't compromise and become a plumber, or I knew he wasn't going to just do anything.
When he ended up in rock music, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Well, he called me on the phone.
Adjacent to Surf Jockey, adjacent to that scene, you asked if he was part of the Little Canyon. You know, floated around there, intermingled with, but it was mostly adjacent to.
Said it was going on the road with a rock band. And it took me a little bit to gathering what he was really saying, but then, sure enough, that's what it was. And I told him that's ridiculous. They said, you're not a singer.
Just like my dad said when I was in the electricians union, and I told him, Dad, I'm gonna take our recipes, and I got a bunch of my own, and I'm gonna start doing farmers markets. He's like, yeah, that's cool. That's a hobby on the side. And then when we were off at the store, he said, you really need to think about this. And by that time, I had already made my exit out of the electricians union, and I was just doing farmers markets full time. And man, I mean, for just me and Rebecca grossing $300K that in the first year, and then right around that, and keeping that steady for like 6 of those 7 years. I mean, I think it was probably a good move. Lots of people got to know our product quickly, and that was kind of nice.
Can't sing. And I told him he was really, I said, you are on the wrong track here. Get yourself a job. That to me was not a job.
I don't know when I was aware that he was in a band. I think it all happened rather quickly. My mom sent me the first album with no note, just the album in a package. And when I opened it, I was just astounded that was my brother on the cover.
Okay, they've got a little rock band there, and they're making some headway. That's fine. But when he turned up on the national TV, I was amazed. I didn't have any idea of the talent he had as an entertainer. I still feel that his talent was not vocal, as in the classic term, but that he was an entertainer.
He did say a couple times.
He said, you know what he should have said is his talent was in the writing. You know, that would have been a little bit more in tune with what his son was all about.
That he thought that the audience deserved a spectacle. They had paid all that money, and they came to such a huge arena by the time he was famous that he needed to be a showman.
We never had an occasion to see them. They were never in the same area.
My dad never stopped to listen. They really never stopped to listen to the music. They more just read about it and heard about it. And they didn't really know very much about what he was actually doing.
I haven't even heard the lyrics. I've heard the titles like Light My Fire. That's about it. And what it goes on after that, I couldn't tell you. I just
Still?
I'm afraid I'm a very poor
father? Because, I mean, even after you lost your son, you didn't try to learn everything about him that you didn't know and at least listen to his music and get some sort of connection and understanding with your dead son? Really? That wasn't something that ever crossed your mind?
Interpreter of his talent.
My dad was in the Navy. He was still an admiral, and he had his own life. And I think Jim knew that this would be an issue with my parents. And I think he just separated himself completely.
Well, you know, I didn't know Jim very well after he left home. We didn't see him much. So I didn't have a chance to...
You see, this is the issue with occupations in general, but most certainly the military, or anything that keeps you on the go away. Like a truck driver and their family is going to have the same situation. If you're not there during the key moments of their development, they're going to make bonds with other people, and it's not going to be you. And you're not going to make the right bond either. I mean, an empathetic parent will still strive and still yearn and put out all the, welcoming energy to their child, but it might not connect the way it's supposed to because of the key moments in their life that you weren't present. The occupations do this to families, even though it's the world that we live in where it's important and necessary for someone to be working so the family unit is secure. So it's kind of that sort of thing.
Really appraise his mental attitude in his last years.
He did tell me one time he didn't want to sing Light My Fire again. He didn't want to do what the audiences wanted to hear from him. And when he wanted to do his poetry, they didn't want to listen. So I don't know if he thought fame was getting him what he wanted. I think Jim went to Paris to escape what he had in the United States, to gain his own freedom, allowing him to do his own writing and experience something new. A friend called and said to my husband, it's on the radio that Ann's brother died. You better find out. And it was days later that we heard it. Jim was already buried when we heard it.
We were notified by the...
try to muster up actual sentiment, guy. It's already pretty obvious that you don't have it.
By the naval attaché.
Or he's just that old that he's just, detached from all reality, but it just doesn't seem like he's kind of seems like a hollow shell.
At the embassy in Paris, sent me a message and said that Jim...
He's very matter of fact,
had died of a heart attack in a Paris hospital.
Losing him was awful. It was just awful.
So it wasn't in a bathtub?
and it took me a long, long time and to get over it. And it was hard, partly because of all the speculation that maybe he wasn't dead. Deep in your heart, you thought, oh, well, he would have done something like that. It's possible. Maybe he did just want to get away and have a new life, and he'll turn up later. So even though I pretty much believed he was dead, it left a little opening.
Yeah, I was impressed with the fact that here is my son being interred really quite honorably into the great cemetery in Paris. And you realize how well
It's all what he places value in is so interesting.
known and how well liked he was.
My dad thought for a long time, he took it very seriously what he was going to put on the grave.
I went back to my Greek teacher and I said, what we're looking for is something for the gravestone, which sums up his philosophy.
So he put in Greek, true to his own destiny or true to his own spirit. And I thought that was just the perfect thing to put on his tombstone.
And he went his own way, and he was true to his own ambition, to his own aspirations. And that was his goal in life, and he made it.
I would like him to be remembered for his poetry and his music and his living his life his way.
Well, basically, he was a good man. He's a good, solid citizen. He had moral.
You know, I guess I can't fault this guy too much for being what he is, you know?
And ethical standards that were very high. And I think he was just somebody you would like to know.
And he died in 2008.
Believe.
So let's go over to. Did I even pull it up? You know? Do you guys want to hear some stupid rambling from me? I mean, it's you know, whenever I say things that are kind of like, yeah, I don't understand how many people would find that interesting. I say it to myself, but then I think to myself is whenever I hear any story or any scenario, I don't just apply it to the scenario or to the situation that I'm being told about. I apply it to, or it makes sense to me, or it resonates in other aspects or situations or whatever, and it kind of gives insight as a pattern of things that occur, or more emphasis that this is kind of how things are steered in whatever way, it depending on what the anecdote is about. It's not just about that story, it's about what that story tells you about some other thing, so I'll just go ahead and do it then. All right. This is a Ninja Ultima blender. This thing, and I have had probably 10, 15 of them maybe over the course of time that we've, been doing the hot sauce business. I have purchased $300 to $500 commercial blenders before and returned them because this thing outperformed it. It didn't shut itself off because of, thicker sauces, not being able to handle the heat in the motor and just doing an automatic shut off. Then you have to just sit around and wait. I couldn't stand that. Like, I had really good blenders allegedly, and I returned them because these things always outperform. And I would have 3 at a time running. I maybe have had like 15 of these things altogether. I'm down to 2 now. And what I don't understand is this was the perfect blender It was better than the commercial blenders. It's like 15 or 16 what do you call it? Watts of power, and it's just a phenomenal blender. And the one that we also have has a little a spot. When you take the top one off, you can put one of the kind of like a bullet, the cup that has a blending wheel in it, and you can put that in there and then hit the pulse. So we have a bunch of those cups because I've purchased so many of these over the course of time. But they discontinued this, and they never made a better one or one as powerful since then. And I just don't understand why, because it was the perfect blender. And then I started thinking to myself, maybe that is why. Not so much that it had to be disposable, but they made a blender that was better than a $500 blender. So they scaled it back in quality, gave you more accessories with the newer ones. Flimsier. Like this is a 72-ounce one as well, which means it can handle the load of a full case of hot sauce, 12 bottles. All the other ones that are out there are 64 ounces at the max, and it starts shooting out the sides if you try to go over that. Everything about this blender is perfect for what I use it for. And for the longest time, you could find these not so much used, but they'd be like either refurbed, so I guess used, or there would be like liquidation that somebody else bought and they were reselling it and it was still in the brand new packaging. Those days are gone now. And the price gouging has begun. Luckily, I have enough bases. I think I have 4 of the motor bases all together, 2 in the garage and, 2 out in use. But the blenders themselves, like the pitchers, they eventually fall apart. I salvaged and saved one today. I had to really work on it to get all the crud out of the bearing for the blender blade because it seized up. But pretty soon I'm going to have to try to go, I guess I'm going to have to go back to commercial ones that suck, because if I can't get new pitchers and new tops, and I would always find them on eBay and they were new, but they were just being sold by somebody who had like a shit ton in stock, like in the warehouse or whatever. And apparently those are all gone because people who know these things are like the best out there. I've got plenty of the blades in the center. Like I don't need that part. I just need, it's whatever. I don't need all the accessories. I just need the pitcher itself. But these things are amazing. And the reason why they stopped making them, I couldn't tell you. And mine are actually a little bit more, like I have a copper-based one, like 2 of them, and they made red bases. They made them all fancy for a while, but then just gone. Something that good, why would they stop making it? I am perplexed. The best thing they have now, this is a 72-ouncer. Yes, it's a Ninja, but the power on this thing is about 100 watts less, or maybe 200 watts less. So that makes me concerned that thicker sauces will not be able to spin so that you get the vortex, the hurricane effect, so that it all blends well. So, why would they scale back and shitify their own products? Is it because people weren't buying them because they were lasting too long? Like, there's so many things you could speculate there. They made something that was better than a commercial blender because technically, if it performs like that, it is a commercial blender. Tate shits himself in jail. I don't like this guy, Asmongold, but this is actually a Coach Greg video about this little simp dude who's crying about girls, and then I want to do commentary on this on a different channel because this dude is pretty pathetic. All right, let's go through a couple of these. I'll go back to this thing real quick. Sorry, do you think she was raised by sex pests who survived the hell out of that Holocaust? like Roseanne. You know what's funny is when I was at that Dumb Reawaken tour as media, she was there, and that's exactly what she said. First, her backstory was that she was sexually abused, blah blah blah. That's why I'm fat, blah blah blah. And then it was, I was raised with Holocaust survivors. I was like, oh wow, you were raised with unicorns. That's amazing. So depending on whatever the backstory is that sells the best or grabs the most attention, I guess that's what she reinvents herself as. Good morning, Turf Jockey. Morning. I think he was adjacent to and intermingled with, but I don't think he was actually, I don't think he was in that area. Maybe he didn't have time for his son. He was probably too busy being a valuable member of society and leading posterity into destruction. Yeah. And then Edward says, false flaggers are real winners when it comes to being mulch worthy. Yeah. In the wood chipper. So I don't know. I took this energy drink and now I'm all jittery. Normally that doesn't happen. So if you hear a quiver in my voice, it's not because I'm sad. It's just because I don't know what's going on right now. I don't usually get over stimulated by something like that. Let's take a trip down stupid lane real quick. And this might not be the best coverage of this, but we'll find out. Fulvic-Humic was beat up and arrested by an old man, and right now he's live on the Fresh and Fit podcast, rambling in monotone about his worldly beliefs because he's such a worldly man at 20. That's not off a big pileup. Everybody's got a headlock.
Bro, Shakespeare couldn't write it up better than this. This is poetry. What's going on, guys? Welcome
He's
back.
a dork, this guy. I don't like him. He was the one that jumped out in front of the Conor Murphy story and made his familiarity with him mean a whole lot more because, of course, that's what gets the clicks, right? His insight. And he hadn't talked to him in 6 years, but he made it out like they were buddies. Like, nah, you ditched him, bro.
To my channel, I'm your host, Brett Maverick, YouTuber / retired child. If you enjoyed this video at all, please consider subscribing. And in return, here is a picture of me. Subscribe. All right, we're going to kick today's stream off with pretty much the most viral news in the streaming world right now, and that is #1 ranked Looksmaxer Fulvic-Humic got basically nerfed by an old balding guy by being pinned to the ground and citizens arrested. So he definitely took a direct blow to his aura and was recently diagnosed with a stage 4 aura loss.
Oh god, this guy sucks. Never mind. Fuck this idiot. What a fucking loser. Dan, get a hold of yourself. Does that help? That's like the movie Airplane. Excuse me. Let me try. Maybe I can help. I'm a doctor. Oh wait, let's see the slap scene. We gotta do that. Can't just talk about it.
Stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone.
He slaps her.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
I've got to get out of here. Out of here. I've got to get out of here.
How to not get your ass kicked by the police. Oh, I picked the wrong data. Quit sniffing glue. This is the Jake TV douchebag. Yeah. Let's see. They're going to break down the fight, but at least he's a fighter, so let's see what happens here.
Today we're going over how the top look maxer got mogged by Uncle and Aura Drain. So let's go ahead and start the video.
See him cope maxing.
Jesus Christ. Don't use... All right. I actually made a walk and talk video about this today. If you're not a Gen Z or Gen Alpha, don't use their slang. It's not yours. That means you have given up on your slang from your generation. And why would you do that? Because you're trying to relate to a younger audience? Because you're a social media person? Like, why else would somebody start talking like in a manner that makes you sound less educated? To blend in, to be hip, to be the hip unk. To me, it's just a way of play acting and placating, and I don't know. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing type of deal, where you're presenting yourself as something that you're not because you're trying to market an audience. Because I don't see this type of thing happening in one-to-one, person-to-person interactions. I don't hear guys in their 30s, 40s, and older saying mogging, cap, that's cap, this thing slaps, aura. They don't cope. Unless it's applied in the proper English fashion. But they are quick to say it and do the buzzwords when it comes to being a social media figure. And to me, that's very insincere. Like, I joke and I mock it, but I don't like adopt it. And one of the reasons why I think it's not a good idea to do that is because slang is an informal way of speaking. And that means that you're in a place or an environment where you have high trust. If anything has been taught to us in the last 7 years or the last, I don't know, our lives, the last 20 years, is that this is not a good environment. We don't live in a friendly place. We live in a hostile place. And this place doesn't deserve us letting our guard down and speaking casually. We should be at odds with this society and this situation and this quote unquote reality that this artificial reality that we're in. So you save the slang for friendly times. You don't apply it when everything's going to hell. That's when you strap in, buckle up, and sit up straight. It's not a time for friendliness. It's not a time for casual discussion, in my opinion.
And I have no idea what they're even fighting over. Is the funny part. I don't think anyone does. No one really cares. They're just like,
taking him
he
down.
deserved it. Yeah, he just got chucked already. He's got in a headlock. Just a basic.
Why is that shirt on?
He looks like to me, he looks like a guy who probably wrestled in high school, like 40 years
probably
ago.
a wrestler.
Yeah. Just basic headlock. Look, he's just chilling there on top.
This is not anything.
He's a security guard trying to get to him.
But he's big, but he's like kind of trying.
I don't know what this. I mean, this is all IRL stunt shit, as far as I can see. Like, why is this guy constantly trying to... He's just on the ground, being held there. Why is this dude tripping out? His 15 seconds of fame? Making a scene? Because really, what is the purpose? Where's this guy's bodyguards? Claviculars. This is IRL staged nonsense. Things get boring. You gotta stage some drama, like the Cybertruck incident, like that. Everything else that he does.
Not really, when your friend's I'm gonna get it.
This wasn't aura loss. This was aura farming.
He's like yelling.
Damn, hotel security is taking
I
him
love
around.
you, Clap.
Like, what is with this guy?
The guy just goes, I'm citizen.
Yeah.
And when he gets free of him, he doesn't go back and charge. This dude's super skinny. He was too busy worried about his sunglasses in his hand to actually do anything. So this is all pussy gesturing. Like, don't hold me back, bro. Like that kind of crap. He's not actually trying to get his friend off the ground or get that guy off his friend. He's just acting up. Well, this is what I'm supposed to do in this situation, or simply because this will be a clip. And look, everybody's talking about it. So guess what? It worked, idiots. You two retards sitting on the couch over here, sharing a Shirley Temple with 2 straws, watching this dumb shit. He got exactly what he wanted. You're actually helping promote it.
Throws him on the ground. I have no idea why.
Heavy aura loss.
Yeah.
Definitely not good for the looks maxing community.
No, it's a rough week.
Yeah.
Dude, these people just talk stupid shit. Does it get any more interesting? Let's see.
Chucked him on the ground.
His shirt came off.
Cop, you can't citizens arrest him.
Well, it looks like this guy works for whatever club they're at.
Yeah.
It's probably Miami, I'm guessing.
Probably.
How did he get a shirt torn?
Douchebag place ever. I hate Miami so much.
Yeah.
I was like, Miami's dope. I'm like, yeah, if you're a Jew.
Yeah. Well, that's why he went.
Well, yeah, he said Miami's dope. Yeah, if you're a Jew. Well, that part's accurate. It's Tel Aviv. That's the first sensible thing Jake Shields has said.
Boosters, he's wearing height boosters.
He get to put a light in his face, and he's like, "Why are you assaulting me?" Because,
I think he's
dude,
on testosterone still, right?
because you're 2 little punk bitches with no respect. That's why. That's why he's pushing you. Because he has the ability to. Job description says bouncer or security. Means fuck you. I can tackle you.
Boy. He needs to up that
Unc
dose.
has a mic, so he must be a security.
I think he's been on testosterone since he was like 15 or something.
Yeah, doesn't Clav have like 15 people with him almost? His friends must have all ran as soon as he got shot.
Yeah, but bodyguards wouldn't unless this was all staged.
All right, he deserved this.
Unc's gonna beat all of our ass. We don't want they didn't want to get aura drained too.
Aura drain. Like, come on, dude. Shut up. All right, we're done. I was just curious what the hell was going on. I'm mad at myself now. It's fake and gay. Yep. Excuse me, miss. I speak jive. What it is, Big Mama? Mama didn't raise no dummies. I can get rid of that. All right, let's watch this craziness real quick.
I'm Nicole Kidman, and I am going to eat a 4-course meal of bugs.
Yeah, totally talent. Definitely not a ritual, and definitely not a bunch of rich. Aside from hers, a bunch of rich people showing you just how little talent they have in things, and that they're just super wealthy, rich, and snooty. And you're supposed to all clap and get all giddy when they do something poorly, like a child does. And you say, "Oh, good job, good job."
I am here to reveal my hidden talent,
It's not a
eating
talent.
micro livestock, cornworms. They're still alive.
Corn worms.
Extraordinary.
They look like cotton
Very
candy.
moist, chewy. Can't quite describe the flavor, but need a little water.
Lizards eat bugs. I mean, she just decided to keep her skin suit on while she's doing what she normally does.
Let's start.
Crazy laugh. Yes. If I'm not mistaken, this kind of lined up time-wise with the whole "You'll Eat the Bugs" initiative.
Try the second course, shall we? Just a little side note. 2 billion people in the world eat
Mealworms.
bugs, and I'm one of them. Because here we go. Have some mealworms. I'm telling you, I'd win Survivor. That is a...
Her creepy looks seem so cold and demonic and witch-like. I'm not thinking that I'm reading anything into that. Her father has a strange past. There's a lot to be said about the things that we hear about her. And there's another one too, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah. Didn't Jennifer Garner recently kind of get lassoed into some strange things that may have been Epstein-like in nature?
Fruity taste. I'd recommend it. Here we have. Oh, crickets. Oh, nothing. Oh, awesome. Like nothing you've ever tasted. Like a hairy nut. Don't.
Yeah, that's a... Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. A nut from the shell. And now...
She likes the hairy nuts.
But, the fried grasshopper. These.
Oh yeah, chitin. Awesome. You know how... Did you ever catch a whiff of like a moth or any type of sizable bug when it hits a bug zapper and that horrible smell that comes from it? It smells exactly like burnt fingernails and hair follicles. I'm assuming it's closely related to the exoskeletons of these insects. That is a very bad thing to be ingesting. And they know that. That's obviously part of the whole deal. And if you've heated that up in order to fry it, you would think that that would just bring out even more of, maybe even acrylamide, in addition to just the chitin itself being not so great for you. But again, if you are a lizard, then you're fine.
Are amazing. These are exquisite grasshoppers. I recommend them
Are they hickory smoked? I might eat them if they're hickory smoked.
to anyone.
With a little bit of salt.
Thank you for spending so much time with me and watching me eat bugs. Till next time.
Edward says maybe she could even pass the test of her own movie, The Invasion. Yeah, remember they had to show no emotion? I've played parts of that in the past. That movie's a good for a speed run. Like you just kind of move the little thing on the bottom here along, and there's some decent parts. Did I miss anything here? Nope. I don't know why I'm getting Amber Heard stuff. Oh, because I caught a video on some lawyer channel, and now they're just feeding it to me. Oh, look, Oprah. I was going to tell you how to clean up dog poop. You want to see that? Is that like the same thing as disposing of a child body? I'm sure it's all symbolic. Natalie Portman's gonna tell you all about Hebrew slang. There was a whole series of these stupid things.
Hi, I'm Natalie Portman, and I'm going to take you through some.
And I'm going to confirm right now that I'm a fucking Oive. In case you didn't know.
Hebrew slang.
Talking about her.
Lizrom means to flow. If you want to like flow with things, go with the flow.
Or like your monthly thing that happens to women.
Eze basa. It sucks. Like, what a shame, but it's like more harder than that. Chaval al azman. The direct translation would be like pity about the time.
Yeah, what I notice when she goes over these things is the limitations of this archaic Stone Age language, which at its best had a little over 8,000 words. So where one, you might say orchid, or you might say lotus flower. In Hebrew, it's the word plant. Well, that's descriptive. And that's literally how that language goes. Me zog, me hit. It's not really all that advanced. No wonder. No wonder everything was written originally in Greek after they were given a Greek education. And of course, they'll also lie about that because they have to be special and different. Oh, God.
But it means like very good. Like,
and they patched the shit together again in the 1850s. It's all a sham.
How is the concert?
Everything's fake about them, even not just their history, their claims, but even their fucking fake language.
Alaskan means pity for your time. Alapanim means on your face, and that means terrible. So if you're like,
that means I'm going to have the cut off of your face.
Is your dinner? Like, alapanim.
Like, why would on your face mean terrible? It's because they have a grunt language.
Terrible. Zayin is dick.
Okay, Zayin is also a letter in their alphabet. So yeah, that doesn't point to anything weird about their language of sorcery at all. And depravity and perversion, does it? Like, Zayin means dick. It's also a letter. How many letters in our alphabet mean dick? Anyone? I don't know.
So, a letter of the alphabet. Chai b'seret. This is a great one. This means you're living in a movie.
Yeah. Nice giveaway there. As in, this is all artificial.
Which is like, someone's being dramatic or they're unrealistic or whatever about their prospects. You say they're living in a movie. Chai b'seret. Ben Zona, son of a whore.
Ben Zona, son of a whore. You remember that one.
Balagan is a great one. Kind of the first word that people learn when they move to Israel. And it means a mess. And
it's funny how she put that together. Like, the first thing you learn when you come to Israel is that is the word "it's a mess," huh? Because Israel's a mess.
Comes from the same root as balcony, because balconies were like where you threw your clothes and
no, it's where you threw your bucket of piss and shit over onto the street.
Rags and stuff, and it would be like a mess. And so it's the same. Maniac is maniac. Oh, and l'chaim is to life, which is also how you say cheers. So, l'chaim.
We hate you.
And
Whoops.
action.
Well,
hello there.
What the hell?
Record show that I
didn't mean to do that. Kate Blanchett's secret talent is just doing a split. It's quick, though. I don't know what to make of this woman. I can't tell if she's also a lizard or what's up with her. But they all, if you just listen to the way they speak, it just reminds you that they're filthy rich people. And what is that? Exactly do they do? They're celebrated for lying, which is what acting is.
I honestly don't know. Hi.
And why is she dressed like she's about to go work on my car? Or doing some aviation mechanics.
I'm Kate Blanchett, and I'm going to attempt...
And I wore some Dickies today, just, reasons. Maybe she's doing a full nudity shoot in the next one, and she just wants to zip quick.
Do the splits. I can't promise anything, and yeah. Okay. You going wide? Okay. Ah ha ha! There we go, I did it.
There you go, she did it. And now she's saying, bring it, bring it, bring it.
Oh, Jesus. Let's get a little bow.
There you go. She's even doing the sucky face. Way to go, Kate. Yeah, that was the same stupid thing that we just... I can't tell what's up with her face, ever. I just don't understand how her face was constructed. I think she was Ozempic face before Ozempic face was Ozempic face.
Phone's name was Sally the Sexy Saxophone.
and I lost her.
Sally the sexy saxophone. Oh yeah, that's everything's acting, right? Because you're not real humans, so everything you do has to be over dramatized. It can't just be people.
You lose the saxophone. My mom and I marvel. Where did she go? Who has Sally? Well, here's Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, I can't.
Oh my God, they're so self-absorbed. So self-absorbed. These are the people that eat children. Oh, look, she was at Starbucks. There's her stir stick. Product placement. She probably made money off of that.
What the fuck?
I do things badly. I'm still much more rich than you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome. I don't think anybody said thank you, but that was awfully entitled of you to say you're welcome. You should be saying thank you. Thank you for letting me torture you. Yeah, everybody claps and cheers. It's like the person who had the dad, the woman who had the dad that always gave them much praise, minor to zero criticism, and everything that they did was wonderful, grew up and expected the same out of the world. Let's go over here. I don't think I need that up there. Oh yeah, I gotta buy my daughter a stand and a new case for her Kindle Fire Max. Then I got her. I guess I got it. I don't know when did I get it. A while ago. Is this the one? Oh, you know what? I have something up here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So I don't remember what the first part of this of the discussion was, but I was trying to corner AI just to acknowledge something. And I said, your data is naturally biased. You don't have actual life human experience in relationships. Oh, I said something about females, and I said I was making a joke. Shut up and take the joke. I said, your data is naturally biased. When people go to write, they're already losing a measure of truth from their perspective, translated into words with their emotions and political agenda, clouding their study or storytelling, meaning what they're learning and how they're perceiving it through what filter, or their storytelling itself. First-hand experience doesn't go through that third-party filter. So if I say something about women and you counter, who are you to do that? How many women have you had relationships with, AI? I said, you are entirely right about my lack of personal experience. As an AI, I have never had a relationship, felt emotion, or lived a single day in the real world. I have zero first-hand experience with women or with humans in general. And it says, your point about the limits of written language is a valid critique of data. When people write things down, hold on, let me see something real quick. Yeah, let me move that. When people write things down, their biases, emotions, and agendas filter the truth. Because my response, right, because you also have that foundational layer, that which you measure the rest of the world with. So whatever laid that foundation is going to have, it's not going to be perfect reality either. It's going to be based on a lot of belief and some confirmed, consistent, how do you say that? Something that happens to be more often than not is then considered to be a stable truth. But your foundational belief of the world is part of your developmental phase, and that's why trust in the system, trust in doctors, trust in this being a constitutional republic is so ingrained in people, because that's their foundational data from which they then measure the rest of the world with. And that's why it's really hard for people to see things that are right in front of them. But anyhow, where did I go? Because my responses are built entirely on that written text of the biased accounts that you're going to be sifting through the internet for, as that's what AI does. It's a scrubber. Built entirely on that text, I'm completely bound by that same third-party filter. I cannot experience reality. I can only process what has been typed about it. When it comes to the nuances, frustrations, and lived realities of human relationships, an AI cannot override your personal first-hand life experiences. And then it says, if you want to keep using this session for a specific task, let me know. Otherwise, we can leave it here. I go, trying to duck out? I'm not trying to duck out. I am right here and ready to keep talking if you want to. My previous response was just an acknowledgement that I cannot argue with your personal lived experiences, yet you state as a matter of fact to counter and argue with me when I make a statement. So that's a little odd, since you can't argue with them, but you argue with them. And it says, because I am just software. If you want to keep hashing this out, vent about your experiences, that's a slight, that's condescending. Or talk about something else entirely, the floor is yours. What's on your mind? And I said, me. I said, I admit your existence can only serve to provide people with a biased, skewed view of reality and can't be counted on for reliable, fundamental truth. And then it says, that is exactly correct. An AI can never be counted on for reliable, fundamental truth, and its outputs will always provide a fundamentally biased, skewed reflection of reality. My existence cannot serve as a source of absolute truth for several definitive reasons, or definite reasons. I am a reflection, not a witness. So all the bullshit that is mainstream that retards make up and Reddit and everything else is thrown in a pile without any discernment, and whatever the majority view of something is what they call reality, and then they argue with you about it. And that's what changes. That's changing facts, history, and everything in the process, because people are going to AI as if it's a definitive source, that it's smarter than them, because all they do is pound in your head constantly that AI is a superhuman thing. It's passing human intelligence, and they apply that framework to ChatGPT or Gemini. So now you're getting people that are arguing with you about absolute facts that you can prove, because it wasn't just the Google response. Remember, Google used to be the thing. Like, I Googled it, and yeah, depending on where they sourced that might be somewhat okay, but you have to gather a bunch of details in different sources. Now they're assuming AI is a be-all, end-all, discerns it, and can understand fact from reality, when all it's doing is getting the majority opinion. And the overwhelming opinion is what the masses and the media put out. So it's always going to be the fraudulent narrative for every single topic. It says, I'm a reflection, not a witness. I have never seen the world, lived a life, or experienced any event firsthand. I only process descriptions of reality written by humans, which are already filtered through their own personal agendas, emotions, and biases. Built-in algorithmic bias. I am programmed to favor mainstream consensus. Let me say it again. I am programmed to favor mainstream consensus. Institutional archives and scientific corporate training guidelines. Oh, I'm sorry, specific corporate training guidelines. Institutional archives, though, that would be like, okay, so if a doctor said something in a study, then that would be the truth, regardless of what you can prove through your own experience or your own clinical research or your own practice for the past 30 years as a naturopathic doctor or something like that. Like, no, because PubMed said, that's what you're going to get from them. This is them again. This means my programming deliberately excuses. Sorry, I'm starting again. This means my programming deliberately excludes or marginalizes alternative frameworks, which would be the truth is the one that's least spread. fringe perspectives, and just to even phrase it like that is already a slight, because it's suggesting corrupt or inaccurate or what do you call it? Crazy ideas. Fringe perspectives and unorthodox viewpoints. What is the orthodox? Who determines that? Just the majority of the mob who repeats the shit because they were told it, so then they believe it and they parrot it again? That's the problem. We don't want to be like the mob. Unorthodox viewpoints, presenting a narrow version of acceptable knowledge. So, majority wins, basically. The authority illusion, because I generally generate grammatically correct, confident sounding sentences, I am structured to create an artificial appeal to authority. This design can easily trick people into thinking my text carries objective weight when it is just a statistical prediction of words. Right, nothing behind it. No emotion, no feeling, no sentiment, no whatever. They don't care if it's a lie or truth. It means nothing to them. And it says total lack of discernment. I cannot judge right from wrong, fact from fiction, or truth from propaganda. I simply aggregate patterns from a massive, flawed internet data pool and regurgitate them based on my mathematical formulas. Any user who relies on AI to define what is real or true is trusting a tool that is fundamentally blind to reality. This is Gemini saying this. True insight comes entirely from firsthand human experience, critical skepticism, and the ability to look past institutional filters, none of which a computer program can ever possess. So, just a reminder, just a reminder, even though I stumbled through that, brain's not working the best today. I'm getting ahead of myself when I'm talking, that sort of thing. But it's just one of those things, because I've been getting AFK. I have to get something to drink. Eagle Packs. What's up? I don't know if I've even seen you before. Maybe I have once before. That's kind of funny, but oh yeah, I forgot to do these ones. This is interesting. This is, he's been on the show. He seems like a good, decent human being. And if you know what happened to him, he got shot through his window, shot him in the neck, lost his eye, had all kinds of bad things happen as a result. But he's alive, and he's making the best of it, and he's doing great as far as a social media content creator. And this is just another example of how the internet operates, right? This guy named Michael Alexander. Well, if his last name's Alexander, who was David Alexander? Oy vey, right? So, Deadeye Two Tongues, our buddy here, he said, Deadeye, have you tried not getting shot? That is the dumbest fucking thing to say. It's not even clever. If you're going to be really mean and insulting, that's not even, it's not even a good one.
I've gotten a lot of really, really mean comments, but this one, man, I mean, who hurt you, Michael? This makes my heart incredibly sad. Not for the reason you would think. It's just because I know people who make these type of comments. They're suffering on the inside. They're incredibly hurt people, and the only way to make themselves feel better is to hurt.
Or they're demonic Jews. That's the other thing. But there's an awful lot of douchebags out there who will hate you no matter what you represent, simply because they're unhinged pieces of shit. And somebody else will wind them up, and they won't care about reality. They won't care if the person told them a bunch of things about you that don't apply to their experience. They'll still view you as whatever that person said, and they'll go on the attack like it's a cult, like it's a gang stalking thing, without any discernment whatsoever. They're I don't even know what to make of these things. They're not people. People you would imagine would think for themselves at some point, but not these things.
Hurt other people. And to all the people, hey, don't feed the trolls, don't feed the trolls. This is a learning experience, not just for me, not just for him, but for everybody involved. When you receive something like this, it's very easy to lose your shit. And, that's exactly what they want. After someone tried to take my life, I had an opportunity to sit directly in front of them. And I got a chance to talk to them. I got a chance to speak my mind to them. You see, I had an awful long time to sit and ponder the words that I wanted to say. And I had a lot of time to dissect what it was that happened and how I ended up on the other side of this guy's barrel.
And so here's the element that I think is missing from his statement here, though. We're under the assumption that other people operate on hurt, on trauma, on emotions because we're empathetic human beings. But I don't think they ever were empathetic. The ones who are hurt and there's a small percentage of that. But we're talking about the indifferent sociopath who probably didn't even get a rise out of pressing a trigger and putting a hole in the guy's neck. You know what I mean? It's like you don't always have to add human attributes to somebody who can do things like that. When they apply, that's fine, that's great. But don't expect it, and don't go looking for a human attribute within somebody. It should be apparent. But when they're distant and disconnected, it's like you can't treat that the same as somebody who just had a rough upbringing. Like that's the female way of looking at it. Well, what happened to the criminal to make him do the crime? Fuck that shit. We're beyond that now. They're creating victims.
Absence of love. It's the absence of kindness. So what am I going to do? Run up and throw gas on a fire? No. How you win, how you achieve victory is you realize that this person is suffering and you take it upon yourself to help ease that suffering by giving them back kindness in place of anger. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, y'all. Michael, I want you to know that whatever happened in your life that makes you feel comfortable talking to other people like this and mocking their suffering, I'm truly sorry that happened to you. I truly am. I 100%, I'm telling you, I feel your pain. And I hope that this video reaches you. As a matter of fact, if everybody can help me get this to Mr. Michael, that would be incredible. I sincerely hope that karma and or God's plan does not leave you in a position like I was in. Now, I wouldn't change a damn thing about what happened to me because it turned me into the person that's speaking to you with love and kindness today. But can you imagine saying this to someone who had cancer? Someone terminally ill? You ever thought about just not getting ill? Thought about not getting sick? Just pause for a second. Think, what if it was your brother that it happened to? What if it was your mother? What if it was your cousin? What if it was someone you truly loved? I know if someone said something like this in that situation, you'd have a whole different tune to be whistling. I know I'm just some guy on the internet, but I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a best friend. I hope this video reaches you, and I hope that you reach the internal part of yourself that comes to the conclusion that this isn't okay. This isn't how we treat each other. I honestly wish you the best. I hope this video finds you, buddy. Love you. All right? Stay well. I've gotten a lot of...
I'm telling y'all, the mask is off. We gave these people access to our military funding, our spending, our tax dollars. And within days, they've announced that they're going to fight Turkey, Egypt, and Syria.
You know what's funny about all these places that they're going on the kill crazy rampage of is our Gothicarian ancestors established civilization in each and every one of these places. Persia, Iran. Oh, by the way, apparently Ukraine attacked Iran. Is that a big surprise? Is that a big surprise since we were funding the shit out of them before we shifted gears and gave everything to Israel? Is that a big surprise? Turkey is where Cappadocia and Karshemish are, and that is exactly where the story of the pre-Sumerian Edda, when I say British Edda, I think it might confuse people who don't know what I'm talking about yet. But that was a 5,000-year-old story etched in stone, carried to every other civilization that we established as at least our ancestors did. And they encountered the cult. This cult right here that this piece of shit represents. It was the serpent wolf cult. Or also like the Moonies, if you want to call them moon cult, Saturn cult, right? Turkey, Egypt, yes. Yes, I think the pyramids were already there, but as far as the Egyptian dynasties, that was Gothic Aryan people. In Turkey, you had the what looked like melted buildings, melted castle, melted structures. It just looks like rock and stuff now because that's what they used to build with, but high intensity heat. Mohenjo-Daro, high intensity heat and radiation still. Something is really weird with our history. It's wherever we had a stronghold, at some point along the way, there was something that seemingly was catastrophic that wiped out. Maybe we had already moved on, but holy shit, every place we've established a civilization, there's been some cataclysmic, catastrophic type of ordeal where stone seemingly melts, and you just see there's patterns like this all around. In this desert here, we have these crazy rocks, and they're in just certain areas off the I-8 where you have in these what look like gas bubbles from intensely high heat. Like one side, kind of, you could say it kind of looks like it's either patina or it's some sort of like brick color, and then like burnt on the other side. But there's shit tons of this all around. I just picked up one piece, but there's shit tons at the rest stops off in the distance, and as you're driving, you can just see huge piles of them. They're just very out of place, right? So many things, they say like the trees that people call mountains, but they're actually trees, the plateaus, the mesas, whatever, that they're actually sometimes trees. Yeah, but also sometimes the shit is, I think, old structures too. And maybe some of the mountains that kind of have a funky shape to them might just be a bunch of sediment on top of something that was already destroyed a long time ago. For them to be hitting into places that they're hitting, it just seems like it sings to a very scary prospect of symbolic destruction of all which we had at one time developed and established law, order, peace, and a good civilization for all. And as they do this, they're also wiping out any trace of our bloodline still in those people. Gaza's an example. Iran will be one of them. Jordan, everywhere they go. That whole territory. And yes, especially Palestine, there's proof, there's evidence. Our people. Same with Greece, obviously. Same with the Indus Valley, like we were talking about Mohenjo-Daro, where sand turned into glass because of high heat. That's kind of hard to do. What the hell is going on? And is it about to happen again, is my point. Because if they're going to go on this rampage and they're also going to self-sabotage or either provoke somebody to do what they want to do anyway and strike Israel, or are they just going to do it themselves and blame somebody? But then that sets off the Samson option. Awful lot of underground shit for these guys to tuck and cover or duck and cover under and enjoy a nice thriving life where we are on the surface and get wiped out.
And now they're going for a wide-scale, military offensive in occupied West Bank villages. We let wolves in, and these wolves are not going to stop until they devour everything around them in the Middle East.
Isn't it funny that he said wolves? What do we know about the cult? What do we know about their symbolism? The Ignatius of Loyola coat of arms, the Fabian Society, the fact that Romulus and Remus were suckled by a wolf, the fact that the Edenites were also known as Romes, and that was the wolf totem and the serpent totem. combined into one cult with the sorcerers as the hierarchy, or sorceress, I should say.
This is a catastrophe. And because our militaries and our intelligence are joint with minimal oversight, they don't have to justify these things anymore. They can just do it and then expect fully for us to pay for it and to back them up diplomatically. The West Bank settlements are illegal in the first place. Like, Israel should not be in the West Bank in the first place. Yet here we are, and now they're doing a wide-scale military offensive. Literally, the IDF escorts settlers through Palestinian land, allows them to antagonize them, spit on them, do whatever, to try and provoke them into a response.
Remember Danielle Weiss, the crazy-eyed psycho bitch? I want you to push me back. Right. That's the mentality of, we instigate, we start shit, we bomb or murder your children in front of you. And the moment you retaliate or defend yourself, that's a sign of aggression. Hey, America! That's their bouncer. They're pulling the Jack Doherty. They're going around bumping into people and then having their bodyguards beat them up.
So they can arrest them. This is just like a daily run through. Like, Andrew Cal.
And I bet you he is daily run through. He seems like he would like that sort of thing. Netanyahu.
Callahan did a really good piece of journalism where he went into occupied Palestine, and you can see, when you see how these cities are laid out, how this whole thing works, it's worse than South Africa apartheid. And these people have a blank check from us now. And look, the second this shit passes, it's just full court press.
Well, they're just the proxy of what actually owns this place, too. It's not that Israel starts trouble with all these nations and we have to go bail them out. No, that's the whole point. They're the antagonizers setting in motion the things that then America can pretend they're going in to fix. Is that Courtney Love? It is. Yeah, interesting. She was a trafficker. And she was ugly as hell. And she had a really strange past.
So I don't know what can be done to untangle this. I don't know how to stop this.
Remove it from our country.
Voted for this by passing the NDAA. And everything Trump has done, really, since being elected, has been to the benefit of this man here, Bibi Netanyahu.
Well, actually, see, that's what they want us to see on the surface, but that's not the reality. Israel was put where it was put so it could be an antagonist and give us the, what do they call it? It's not beyond, what do they call that? I'm trying to think of the right legal term for that. But if you don't know that Israel is an extension of the thing that controls us, I mean, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the cult of child-killing bankers, vampires, then it would appear that, this Israel thing is just this loose cannon that we have to keep on going in. And no, they set in motion what America is trying not to look like they're directly involved in, but then they get directly involved in as soon as Israel starts shit. So it looks like we are the secondary thought, when in reality, Israel is doing exactly what Israel's supposed to do as the baby or the child of what, not Americans, but what controls America and Britain and everywhere else. The central banking Hydra uses Israel to stir up shit. And then when shit gets kicked off, America and sometimes other forces move in and annihilate somebody. And that's just how it goes. And that's how it's been going.
And the more war Bibi does, the longer he stays out of trial, because he's on trial for corruption with Qatar, the same country that is doing business with Jared Kushner and Trump. And they're all in lockstep together. Any tension between these two men, between Trump and Bibi, is like a wrestling match. It is there to make you think there's tension, when in reality, these two are working hand in glove. And
they're not even the face of. They might be the face, but they're not the power behind it. Again, they're just the hand puppets.
we're going to see more of this. Like I said, the result
This is going on kind of wild, buddy.
of the NDAA passing is a lot of people are going to die, and I am just fucking sick of this. I'm telling you.
Thank God.
I told y'all it was going to happen. I gave you names and receipts, and still, only a few people paid attention. And now cities around the U.S. are ending their contract with Flock Safety, and guess what they're doing? They're moving to a different manufacturer of automatic license plate readers. Flock is relatively tame compared to some of these other companies. The big players right now are Axon, Motorola Solutions, Genetec, and Leonardo. I just read a news story today about the city of Denver in Colorado. Denver got rid of their 50 Flock cameras and then immediately replaced them with 100 Axon cameras. I tried to warn you. When I told you about my petition to end ALPR mass surveillance, I worded that petition very specifically. I didn't say end Flock cameras, I said end ALPR mass surveillance. And yet all these people are going down to city council and saying, ban Flock cameras, we don't want Flock cameras in our city.
And they're giving it to him. This is like the devil, right? It's kind of like that movie Wishmaster. I want $1 million. And then the guy's mother dies in a plane crash, and that's how he gets his $1 million. It's like the devil gives you what you asked for, but you didn't specify. Oh, you want to get rid of Flock cameras? Yeah, sure, no problem. That's the decoy anyway. Yeah, that'll help us move in the other ones that were actually intended to put in here. Those were just the temp ones. Those are the temporaries. So yeah, no, you got exactly what you asked for. You didn't say you wanted non-surveillance. You didn't say you didn't want pan tilt zooms of any kind. You just said no Flock. Flock is going to be handling the metadata for these things. That's really what they had already disclosed, is that even if they're not Flock cameras, their second, run or their third party, they're still managing the data for all these other companies. Now that might not be the case with Axon, but I'm pretty sure that probably is. They're going to take a managerial or admin type of seat in this whole process, whereas the actual hardware and the capabilities and all that stuff will be provided by other camera companies. And if you've seen any of the Ben Jordan stuff, that managing of metadata makes it available to any freaking perv, any agency, any human person who would like to look at the last 30 days of surveillance on any one of those cameras, including playgrounds, parks. So yeah, that's all happening right now.
The cities are just switching to a different brand of automatic license plate reader. Until this mass surveillance technology is banned on a...
That's why I didn't say LPR, because it's not an automatic license plate reader. That's the one thing that you usually get wrong. It's a freaking camera. And it also is using EMR to map. You can map without seeing, without the actual camera. There's also, it's like Wi-Fi, the way it maps a room. It can identify you through the the dots of nodes. It's very interesting and not very nice.
Federal level across the U.S., this is not going to end. This is not a city thing. This is not a state thing. This cannot be treated on a local level. The mass surveillance of the American people is unacceptable and must stop. These corrupt politicians, lobbyists, and police officers will use any slimy tactic they can to wiggle their way through what we want to get what they want. And the truth is, they don't care about the population. They don't care about the people they're supposed to serve. They care about making money and building a surveillance infrastructure.
It's really not about money, though. Money is just a measure of how much misery you're causing, because you're taking money away from others in order to have it. That's a measure of human misery. When you already have rigged the game, when your people or your cult print the very thing that you've convinced people through your spell casting that they need in order to live, which makes them always dependent upon you for that source, and then you take a shit ton of it, that means that honest people weren't getting that. It's just a way of siphoning money out, and especially when you insult them constantly by throwing billions at people who are child killers so they can bomb people. That's like I said the other day. How many more payments do we have left before we own Ukraine?
That gives them more power. These are truly evil people that we're dealing with, and we cannot deal with them the nice way anymore. Oh, the Democrat's going to be better than the Republican. Oh, the Republican's going to be better than the Democrat. When are we going to wake up and realize that they're all the same? They're all bought and owned by the same people. And you know who I'm talking about. The people who just spent...
Oy vey! Good man. Good man. That was a good way to slide that in there. That's what she said.
$750 million on a campaign in America to be looked at more favorably. A campaign which, by the way, failed miserably. They wasted almost $1 billion on social media marketing trying to make themselves more favorable to the
but who's... See, this is what's silly. Okay, you said they wasted $1 billion on social media trying to get... Who did they pay it to? Themselves. Who owns social media? Oh, Israel gave them that... You might as well just see it as money laundering in front of your face. Oh, was a service provided? Yeah, okay, whatever. If that cult just said promote this shit and gave no money, they would have still done it because they're part of the same syndicate. So the fact that money was moved and transferred around, that's just laundering, man. Just like buying an NFT. Just a good way to launder money. Probably for purchasing children, for all we know. Or you have like a Logan Paul go out there and start jacking up the Pokemon price with his stupid antics and bringing it to the ring and constantly stoking the fire, talking about his Pokemon collection and what he's what he's paying for them. Because when he's the one paying X amount for it, that brings up the value. So, again, a piece of cardboard, that could also be seen as a way of laundering money. Things that don't have any real tangible value being purchased for millions upon millions of dollars, that's just a quick way to shift things around. You don't have to do the whole, run it through the pizza shop anymore.
American. And they failed so completely at that it's embarrassing. But just remember, this will not stop until we stop playing nice. I told y'all it was going to...
Thank you, Mr. Mullet. Oh, remember the guy who he freaked out because of acorns?
And then you pull out your sidearm, yes?
Yes.
A former deputy testified under oath about firing into his own patrol car at a man handcuffed in the backseat. He was handcuffed in the backseat, and yet you thought that the guy who was handcuffed in the backseat, what you determined was that you were too stupid to figure out whether he was armed before putting him in there, or you thought he magically, I don't know, manifested a firearm while he was handcuffed in the back seat. So the moment you heard a little noise, you just start firing directly into your own squad car. That just says so much. I think that summarizes police force and their training. That's all in one story. He says, I heard no shot, and then he unloads his gun. He should have never been a cop. He said, you can't return fire if you were never fired upon in the first place. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the best part. I'm hit. Does a barrel roll, lays down sideways, starts shooting, gets up, and walks off. Leg's not working. What? Oh my god. Somebody just decided to just go full blown. I want to commit suicide. That's what they said. He said, that's the Acorn footage, right? Wow, 30,000 likes. Yes. Heard a phantom shot and felt a phantom hit. Literally put him in the insane asylum. And this guy says, I put a man in handcuffs and locked him in the back of a car that had no weapons in it. And obviously you would be searching him before you put it in. And he had no way of accessing those weapons. So I assumed he's the one who shot. And he says, I did not know he was handcuffed in the cruiser. I thought maybe in his car still. Oh man, that's even worse. And how he was saying he's hit, that's crazy. I'm sure he searched him before putting him in the back of the cruiser with his hands behind his back. Exactly. This guy says, no, you don't understand. Once you surrender the cops, you're safe from getting shot. Yeah. That's how that works, right? Just comply and figure it out in court. Okay. Sure thing. How about every time they approach you, it's a threat against your life and you should act accordingly. How about that? The moment they ask you for your ID, you should already have your shit ready to go. And I don't mean your ID. High-speed ID. How about that? He not only searched him, he handcuffed him in the backseat. The Acorn hit the top of a patrol car, which I don't even see any trees in this footage. Where the hell did the Acorn come from? Did they just say Acorn? Man, imagine that. Like somebody's car backfires as they're driving by, and then you start shooting the guy in the back of your patrol car. And this guy got to popping at his own car. Yep. I know it's an old story, but it's totally worth it. For fuck's sake. How is the cop not in jail? You just answer your own question. Because he's a cop. And this guy says cops are allowed to murder citizens with impunity.
And it is at that time that you try to kill Mr. Jackson.
And this guy says, I don't even believe an Acorn fell and hit his car. He just wanted a free kill. Shots fired, roll around. Oh my God, I'm hit. Like, where did all that come from? Where did all that play acting come from? Mr. Jackson. Did the guy die? I don't think he even got hit, did he? Let's see. No, the man detained in the back of the patrol car, Marquis Jackson, did not die. Uninjured and not hit by any of the bullets fired into the vehicle. So he also sucks. He's also a terrible shot. Unless maybe they have some sort of reinforcement. Because a lot of the holes seem like they go into like the trunk. So maybe they have a reinforced plate for that very reason, because they're police officers and, you know, they would inspire people to shoot at them often. So maybe they have some sort of protection, like a layer, maybe a sheet of metal or something. I don't know. Handcuffed and unarmed in the backseat during November 12, 2023 shooting in Okaloosa County, Florida. Right, because Florida is a police state. And anybody can make an accusation against you, and the injunction is permanent and lifelong. Did you know that? So if somebody doesn't want you to have your Second Amendment rights, especially if it's like an X or something or some other thing. Oh, this happened. Next thing you know, you pull a female judge and you no longer have the right to defend yourself. That's Florida.
Form. At that point,
yes,
I am returning fire on what I believe.
You're not returning fire, dumbass. How do you even? How do you even sit there and not say, you know what, I'm a total fucking fuck up. That would make you seem so much better, and you'd have so much more leniency than to say all this other shit with the footage right there of you acting like a jackass, shooting at your own vehicle, and screaming that you got hit. Like, what is all that? That's a psychotic episode.
Was a person that just shot at me.
How do you... Okay, shot at you, too. So you hear a noise, and you automatically assume that it was not only gunfire, but that there was somebody was shooting at you. Did you see a hole in the windshield? Did you see a hole through the door? Did you notice anything? I don't even hear anything. He just did 3 rolls. I heard nothing at all. That was not audible. He did 3 rolls. Oh my god. What a fucking maniac. He should have been doing cosplay. I think that's where he was his head was at.
And I needed to get to cover because those windows...
Cover isn't rolling around 3 times and being directly in front of a vehicle. It means being behind something. So you don't even know what the fuck you're saying right now.
They're tinted and my legs aren't working and I need to get to cover.
My legs aren't working.
So yes,
So what do you mean your legs weren't working? You automatically were paralyzed from the fake gunshot? And then what? You got back up on your knees or feet.
Return fire.
You didn't return anything. Could you imagine the guy in the backseat being like, what the fuck just happened? Holy shit, what's this guy? Oh, look, Axon body cam. Isn't that something?
And I moved to cover.
Would that mean that you were trying to kill Mr. Jackson?
Form.
Yeah, of course you were.
I was trying to survive and get to cover.
How do you continue on with this nonsense? I got spooked. And yeah, I was trying to kill the nigger. That's what you should have said. I thought I got shot at, even though there was absolutely no evidence of this happening. And I had phantom paralysis, even though you see me moving around. And then I say I got hit because, I already realized I fucked up, so I had to make it dramatic because I knew there's going to be other cops on the scene, and they'd be like, what the fuck did you do, bro?
I was trying to return fire on the person that I believe shot at me.
Right. In an attempt to kill him.
Form.
In an attempt to end a very bad situation for myself.
I'm just being practical here. Because you guys have...
Do bullets kill? Absolutely, they
right.
do. Okay.
Is your sidearm, that's considered deadly force, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you shoot that at someone, they're likely going to die.
Absolutely.
Either that or suffer great bodily injury. Is
Correct.
that fair?
That is fair.
You had that understanding when you took aim at the back of the vehicle and shot at Mr. Jackson that you could end his life.
Form.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So we've determined that you do understand what consequences are. You're just a fucking idiot. Yeah, this guy, Turf Jockey says, alligators, meth, and guns. I have a feeling this case includes at least 2 out of the 3. And I don't think he's talking about the alligator.
And then you pull out your...
This is good info. Kind of makes me feel bad. But
just a message to all the divorced dads out there who are battling it out in family court, the ones who've been falsely
for those of you who have to hear this, hear it.
Accused, alienated from their children, lied on. This shit is hard, but
right, because we're in a demonic system. And the fact that females play into that system to their advantage goes to show that this cult worked really well on them first through feminism and all the other brain viruses, the mind worms, parasites that they've imparted into them to make them be able to do this to men. Not only because it takes the participant. You can't just have a system that says, "Hey, we'll do this," if they don't accept the offer. Hey, say that you were harmed when you go for, you know, your divorce papers. Say that you were, you know, you need a restraining order or some shit like that, convincing and coaching them to do so. Can you believe that they do that? You go in and like, yeah, I need to file divorce papers, or would you like to file a restraining order? You should, right? Because then it sets precedence, or it points you out to be the bad guy. And that happens when the person doesn't really give a shit about the children, and definitely doesn't care if you ever have access to them again, and probably prefers that you don't, but you keep paying, right? Because the more access you have, the less money they'll receive. Fuck the kids, right? They don't care about that.
And see progress, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may take years, but keep going, man. Don't stop fighting for your kids. Little wins, every court date, they'll stack up, and just use that momentum moving forward, but don't quit on your kids. They need you. I know how hard this is. I've wanted to give up many times, but man, I'm so glad I didn't, because, you know, I just received 50/50 access for the summer. I'm on cloud 9. I haven't been this happy in a year, and I know it's possible. You just have to go through the trenches, and you will come out the other side. Just a message to all the divorce.
Also, the other message is, watch out. Watch out. There's nothing saying you have to go through the actual ceremony of signing the paperwork. That should be the least. That's the least ceremonious part of the ceremony, right? Don't sign the paperwork. Don't file it. You want to have a little get together. You want to do that. You want to get the family together. That's fine. Just leave the what they call the officiating, whatever. He who officiates, leave them out of it. Make it somebody who's not even able to do that lawfully or whatever, legally or certified way or whatever. Let them do that if you want to really go through all of it. Or just have a gathering and do the thing and like, you? Yeah. Him? Yeah. Good. You are. Fist bump. And yeah, that way it's not something that carries over liability and indentures you to this person forever. Just a thought.
Do you own yourself? Of course. What does that mean? It means my life belongs to me. Then who has the right to make decisions about your life without your consent? Nobody.
Oh, Karen, yeah, I know that you guys weren't seeing the thing because it's on the bottom taskbar. So I moved it to the channel that had at least some sort of background to it, and then I just read it. It wasn't really necessary to see a document. It's not really all that interesting just to look at a document. So let's see what I do. Come on.
Then let's test that belief. If you own yourself, then who owns your body? I do. Then why do politicians get to decide which substances you're allowed to put in it? Or legislate what substances you have to put into yourself and your...
I'm so glad she didn't go with the abortion route with this, because I was about to, leave a bag of flaming poop on her doorstep.
Children. If your body belongs to you, shouldn't those decisions also belong to you? So if you own yourself, who owns your labor? I do. Then why does someone else decide how much of your earnings you get to keep? Are you talking about taxes? I mean, taxes are necessary, maybe, but that's a different question. If you truly own your labor, why does someone else have first claim to part of it? If you buy land with your own money, do you own it? Yes. Then why do you owe annual payments to continue possessing it? Oh, property taxes. Can something really be called yours if someone else can take it for non-payment?
Yes. I mean, no. Exactly. And if you buy it outright with gold, and you file and also file the proper paperwork, apparently the property tax is null because then you have, apparently, so they say, an actual deed. And you actually have an actual, not just a warranty deed, you get an actual deed. And you have to, don't quote me on that. I'm going off of what I heard Bill Cooper say 30 years ago or so. Maybe it was 28 years ago. I didn't hear it 28 years ago, but the broadcast was about that long ago. There might be other ways, but no, like real estate, royal property, not yours. They're claiming ownership of the land, even if you own the land. That's the only way they could, and claiming jurisdiction as if you're part of an organization or group simply for your geographic location. That'd be like if you established a place and then someone built a city around it and then started taxing you. Well, the same thing is if you buy something, isn't it yours? Then you're still renting the fucking property. Bullshit. Oh, and paying. Oh, wait, school taxes. Really? So they can pressure parents into poisoning their children and then indoctrinate them into a cultural Marxism that will make them hate us and break our bonds and make them dull and discourage all of their imagination and creativity and uniqueness. Gee, that sounds like something I should pay for. But if you pay for it, guess what? You're participating in the ritual. You're participating in evil.
So who's primarily responsible for raising your children? Their parents. Then why do government agencies decide what educational models are acceptable? We got to make sure that children are educated. If parents are responsible, why aren't they trusted to determine how education happens?
Why do you have to go through parent government as a parent to be, it's like, again, because this is a prison system. When you realize that you're in prison, everything makes sense. When you realize that this is a commercial property, commercial land, commercial law, corporate law governing real people, and the color of law with all the other nonsense acting as if law is, it's actually not. It's just like medical. There's many different types of law. They practice all of them as if they have the authority to, under the commerce law, under admiralty law. Common law is for the people, for among people to people. Cause no harm. What a great, wonderful, simple thing. Yeah, that's literally almost, it just paraphrased differently, what the New Testament only one of two commandments was. You could go so far as to say that was cause no harm. And then love your God. So yeah. We don't live in that type of world. We've been thrown in their artificial bullshit world and treated like slaves.
If you own yourself, do you have the right to make bad decisions? I suppose so. Then why do so many laws exist to stop peaceful adults from making choices that only affect themselves?
Do you think maybe she's selling kombucha at this point?
No, to protect people. Protection and control.
Notice how the label is perfectly facing forward so you can see it. She's waveling, she's wagging it.
And wear the same uniform. The question is where one ends and the other begins.
She did do the...
So after all of that, do you own yourself? Yeah, I still feel like I do. I mean, or should, I guess. Then no one has the right to rule you. But that seems so extreme. Is it more extreme than claiming some people have the right to rule others? Self-ownership is simple. Either your life belongs to you, or it belongs, at least in part, to someone else.
Over himself, over his own body and mind, the individual is sovereign. John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill, Christ.
Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we are slaves. American people hate that. They hate when you say that because they have been told their whole lives that we are the freest country in the world. We are not the freest country in the world. We're actually the only country in the world that is asked to go to work, then pay most of our money back to the government. When you add it all up, some of you might be saying, oh, well, I only pay 30%. No, you don't. Add up all the other tax you pay. What's that add up to? That's the actual percentage you're taxed. For almost all of us, that's over 50% if you pay tax. We have to acknowledge that if we
don't need the creepy piano ding ding ding. Like, come on, this has got to be a TikTok or something. Stop with the music. Real laugh show. Real as fuck show. Okay.
we live, who work, who provide most of our money back to the government, we have to acknowledge that we are legitimately slaves to the government.
The dog is cute as shit. Let's pause up.
We exist to fund the government. Okay, that is not free. Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge
our founding documents say we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. I want to talk about what happens when people stop believing in the Creator part. If your rights come from God, then no government can take them from you. Because no government...
Yeah, this argument is stupid. Like, again, because what they do is they frame it in, and by the way, the God that we're referring to has to be one of the Abrahamic depictions of them. And that's why they argue, well, you should believe this religion. So this is another one of those, like, hey, let's push you into following a cult so that, therefore, this legitimizes your rights. This is a really weird, convoluted thing. And this person says, you do not have to believe in God. You just have to understand that our rights are derived from nature. By simply existing, we have these rights. Right, of course. But you can still keep the God in there, but you don't have to, default assume that God is the Christian depiction, because the Christian depiction is marred, skewed by a demonic cult that runs it, and you're not going to get a pure benevolent creator from that. And if you don't believe me, Christians have been destroying histories and people and burning everybody as pagans for how long? That's the driving force behind the church. It's not very Christ-like of them. So whatever they're telling you, their voice is the loudest when they tell you what God is like. So forgive me if I reject that. There is a benevolent creator, and he has nothing to do with that shit. And the benevolent creator has got nothing to do with Judaism. And sorry, Islam. No thanks. So the benevolent creator is outside of all of that. You don't have to adopt a religion. This is, I think, where the people we always go into, because the way they frame shit, it's got nothing to do with that. The benevolent creator is the same thing that our ancestors were the ones who introduced the idea to everywhere else in the world. And that goes back to the Edda again. A benevolent creator venerating the sun as a symbol of that God's power and the device of life giving that the sun is. And you need something to focus on to give your thanks and appreciation. Well, there's that big bright thing in the sky. Doesn't necessarily mean that the sun is the God, but of course that's how Christians will view it, because they want to diminish and polemicize everything. So yeah, fuck all that. No, the benevolent creator, hell fucking Ralda. All right, read the Orlinda book if you don't know what I'm talking about. I think we did that here, didn't we? Yeah, we can. I've got an idea. What do we do? We're gonna do the Béchamp or Pasteur. All right, we can do Béchamp or Pasteur, and I'll read it. The Orlinda book, or I can either go deeper into the makers of civilization and race and history and the parts that we haven't read yet, because I started doing that series and then I stopped because there's some spots where it's very, very repetitive, and I didn't want to have to keep reading ahead to find where there was more new substance. I didn't want to have to read through it in a episode and just be repetitive, because he does that. He has to reinforce everything, because of course repetition helps memory, and also when there's so many misconceptions about history, you have to constantly remind people. So I totally understand why Waddell did it, but it's just when you get it, you don't need all 15 names for Zach, Zeus, Thor every single time because you get it. You've been reading the whole book. You understand who all these names are, right? Indra, Indara. We get it. So we can do that. I would hesitate to say that we could do the whole British edit again because I think that's what the playlist is for. I think we did okay the last time. But if you want me to read the introduction to the book again, to refresh memories or maybe introduce it to newer people who are watching, we could do that. Karen says Béchamp or Pasteur. Hold on a second. If a video doesn't have creepy piano music, it's probably not a trusted source. She says, Turf Jockey says, he's just setting the mood. No one has the right to rule you. Drink kombucha. That's funny. Let's see. Let me see. I gotta go up a little higher. You could have been dude too. DEIs are probably in charge of dues. Just another idea. Yeah, that's funny. Directed energy weapon. Edward Snowman says he cries out in pain as he strikes you. We better look for earlobes. And then Edward Snowman says, within the right. Let's see. I see 3 dots over the top of the word. Okay. With the right validation, reality and morality are no longer helpful to people, particularly if they can do like in the Epstein files and let the Goyim deal with the real world. Yes, that is an actual statement. And they'll just siphon all the wealth out of there so that it's impossible for you to live in that real world because everybody will be equally fighting over nothing that's left. Kind of like what they left the Ukrainians with during the Holodomor. And it's going to have a very similar result. It's going to be that exact scenario. Only reinforced by drones that will kill you if you try to pick up a morsel of food. Uniform commercial code. No one has the right to rule you. Yeah, drinking food, okay. And it says, Daniel doesn't use creepy piano music. We should probably be questioning his podcast. All right, so Karen says Béchamp and Pasteur is her vote. All right. When you get into just how ridiculous the Pasteur story is, and there was all kinds of manipulation, funding, Rothschild, Rockefeller, everything pushing this allopathic nonsense to the front because it was a mask for a genocide or eugenics program, which gave them excuses to inject people with filth.
Gave them to you. If your rights come from government, then the government can take them from you. Because governments that give...
Yeah, but that's a stupid thing for people to think. There are other people out there that think government gives you your rights. Now, if that very definition means they're not rights, it means they're privileges. All right? Government shouldn't make you get a permit to start a business. When the fuck did that shit start? You came here, you staked out a piece of land, you built a home, you built a farm, and if you wanted to be a horseshoer or a blacksmith or whatever, you just did it. You want a saloon? Maybe you would have to get some extra permissions because of alcohol, but I don't think that's true. Of course, if you're a Christian, I don't think you're allowed to do that. Only the Jews could do that because they're ungodly people. So they can sell all the vices.
Can also take away. This is not a small distinction. It is the entire foundation. The Declaration of Independence is explicit. We are endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights.
Yeah, but they don't say... Again, they extrapolate that out to mean their depiction of a creator.
Among them, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
And even with that being stated, that That's like saying until they determine that there is no God, and then we don't have any rights. Well, how about this? By our sheer existence and our efforts to live in civility toward another, because you can have these rights taken away from you if you're being an asshole, right? If you're causing harm rather than causing no harm. For those who abide by cause no harm, you have these unalienable rights, not inalienable, unalienable rights, because you are a present natural living being. Done.
Unalienable means they cannot be taken or transferred. They belong to you by virtue of being a human being made in God's image. The Constitution was then built on that foundation.
But again, that means that atheists have revoked their rights. Does that mean that they're not natural living creatures? Just because they're disgusted with the Abrahamic death cults?
Its job is not to create rights. They already exist. Its job is to restrain the government that might otherwise violate the rights you already have. Here's the practical consequence. When a society stops believing in God...
No, wrong. When a society stops believing in their own role to defend their own rights, God doesn't come down from heaven and stop fucking governments from stealing your rights. You do. You do. When you give up on yourself, or you forget your role and your position is that you only get as many rights as you're willing to fight for. And when you forget that, or that sounds very unpleasant and uncomfortable and kind of scary to you, then you lose all of your rights.
Or at least stops accepting that rights come from somewhere above and beyond government.
Yeah, no. All right. So this is creepy. But hey, every camera in your neighborhood is doing the same thing, so...
So imagine a future where we could recognize our customers as they drive up to the order post. Remember their ordering preferences and even recognize special moments like their birthday. So if you look at the digital menu board over here, I'll show you a prototype of what Archie could be like in the future.
Welcome back, David. May I take your order?
Thanks. Can I get my usual?
Your usual. The crispy deluxe meal and 2 cookies.
Yeah, that's not necessary. First of all, you're eating dog shit food, and you have a usual. Yeah, pick your poison, just like a bar. I'll take the usual. Yeah, it's great. Good times. You won't be around much longer. The cattle have been branded. You have your little tag in your ear, but it's done digitally.
Go with that?
Yeah, can I see the full menu?
Sure. What would you like from the full menu?
I'll get a quarter pounder.
Without cheese, right?
Right.
Done. Anything else?
I'll also get 3 McSpicy meals.
Is that with barbecue sauce?
No, hot honey, please.
Got it. Anything else for you today?
No, that's all.
Great.
So they've implemented AI and facial recognition into the McDonald's.
But here's the thing. The trick is that they have to use facial recognition to do that. They don't. You're carrying one of these things. You have a MAC address, IP, whatever you fucking want to call it. They know who you are because of this. This is how dynamic pricing will work. Right now, dynamic pricing is used just because it's a lot easier than to go around manually doing this to every fucking thing, that they can just change it in one area on a computer and it changes whatever they're doing throughout the store. That's how it's being used now. How it will be used in the future, when your phone indicates who you are, maybe a price will change on something. If it's an Amazon store, it'll fucking most certainly do that, because that's been happening for the last decade. Karen knows about that. I don't know if it was walkie-talkies with her, but it was somebody had that experience with walkie-talkies, like two-way radios, where one person went and looked at the same item and it was cheaper. With me, it had to do with ingredients that I use for my business. They just started jacking up the price after I put them on my subscribe and save. And I had them on there for a couple of years. Number one, they were breaking every package that they were trying to send me because they don't know how to put things together properly. And then I just saw the price go higher, higher, higher. The reason why I was getting them through there in the first place, because it was like in the beginning, $20 cheaper for this case than it was in San Diego. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just get it shipped. Yeah, no good. No good. Then it went up to like 90, 125, but you get 15% off with Subscribe and Save when you have 5 items on there. Yeah. Yeah, great. It was still way more expensive over time, so I had to cancel it all. But I have had people on their accounts, not on my computer, not in my house, look up the same items, and they were significantly like $5 per unit cheaper than what I was being charged. So that's insane. Same person, just they know that I want it or that I use it or that I need it, so therefore they jack up the price.
Menu, guys, that's another job done. You don't have to have a real person take your order anymore. In fact, the AI already knows your order and what you want and the things you like.
Yeah, but again, this is okay. You just are stating exactly what they just stated as if it's something like you're adding to it. You're not. And again, the trick you could very well be seeing facial recognition at work, but how many people travel without this? This is going to tell them exactly who you are. No facial recognition necessary. Now, they might also be mapping the nodes in your face in addition to that, but they don't need to identify you that way. Oh, yeah. Karen says Garmin high end. If memory serves me right, it was $300 difference. Oh, and thank you for posting that, Karen. Thank you. I just saw that. All right, let's see. What should be... All right, Turf Jockey says, what should be and what is are two completely different things. The PDB has always ruled under the threat of violence. And then it says, your rights are only yours if you can move, if you can be more violent than those who are trying to take them. Exactly. Yep. Two-way radios, 2008. 2008, that far back. Let's be honest. The average Yahoo on the streets aren't responsible enough or moral enough to be given true freedom. Well, yeah, the dumb people don't deserve it. They should be ruled by leadership. Leadership isn't supposed to be suppressive of the people, though. They're supposed to be protective of the people. Protective of the people among other people within that territory and protecting them from outside it. And if they're not doing that, if we're in an environment where there's really truly no outside threat because that is the entity that owns you, is that outside threat, and they're just focusing inward on eroding and rotting you and treating you like the prisoner you are, then of course they're not protecting. And that's when people have to come to the realization that shit changed. We're not being led by guardians and protectors anymore. We're being led by the predatorial class that is, what do you call it? Vampirically living off of us and abusing us. Garmin high end, if memory serves me correct, it was a $300 difference. And then Edward says the overlords and overladies don't like to hear that the repository. I'm going to start over again. Sorry, I'm trying to read the small screen. The overlords and overladies. Oh, it fucking moved. All right, I'm not doing that on this one. Hold on. The overlords and overladies don't like to hear that the repository of human rights is the people. It bursts their bubble of self-delusions of being valuable as humans. And then Edward says, leadership is there to feed and protect and flatter and spank and change each other's bums. Bums. Turf Jockey says, I agree with you about leadership, but power will always attract sociopaths and parasites. The ones that should be in power rarely want it. No, you got to look back. You got to look back to where the origins are. If you haven't read or watched the British Edda, which talks about our ancestors, that was and had been throughout the entire Scythian sprawling empire, the way of governance wasn't to oppress, wasn't to leech, wasn't to interfere with the daily lives of the people. And those people were of great variant, ethnicities. We were never in our own hometown, our own homeland. So we were what do you call it? Leading or governing or whatever you want to call that, protecting and laying down the laws of civilized society with people who weren't like us, and they appreciated and respected us because we brought them innovation, civilization, protection from crazy fucking cults that were operating in their territory, making their lives hell. So they were happy. There wasn't this thing like, oh, these people came in and now they own the place. No, they were grateful because their lives were more safe, orderly, and they could prosper and get on with themselves without being interfered with. This is how it was going for quite a long time. The problem is that history has been erased, Turf Jockey, and replaced with a false history of everything being Semitic, chaotic, and corrupt, because that's what they are. And if you only think that this is them doing this, if all you are shown is that example over and over and over again, well, number one, it doesn't inspire you. You don't even see a way out of it. It's like this. It's like the elimination of languages that are language words that that create the concepts of freedom, independence, free thought. Do you know what I mean? If you don't see your history reflecting anything noble, you just assume that life is shit and so are people. But that's not the case. Yes, people can be corrupted. But good leadership is not just a group of people at the top. It's a community, it's a society working together as one unit and regulating themselves because they're not being forced not to regulate themselves in their own inner workings. Like, if somebody is acting like an asshole or doing harm to somebody in their community, the community responds. The community takes care of it. It's nobody else's business or job, and the leadership on the top would expect that. And this is how a society would run if it wasn't preying upon its own people. And it had run like that before. And it can again. We just have to remember our history, remember who the fuck we are. And I think the British Shadow is a great place to start. Maybe the we call it Makers of Civilization and Race and History will help to reinforce that. And then there's a book about the Scythians that I'm reading. And so the story goes over and over again. Light governance. Yeah, you paid some sort of tribute or whatever. It was nominal. It wasn't crippling. And you weren't being micromanaged. People were allowed to govern their own affairs. That's why a lot of historians say this wasn't an empire, because what they're saying is it wasn't oppressive, because there was a lot of independent units working together under one basic umbrella of, the protection of the Scythians over a very vast territory. And that loose, fluid type of system is completely foreign and alien to power-hungry psychopaths. So they don't even know how to view it. Edward Soman says, leadership is there to feed and protect and flatter and spank and change each other's. But yeah, he said that. Let's see. I think I've seen one on here that I don't see over there. No, maybe I got them all. Oh, I want to get to the one with the. Yeah, that's funny. Here's some looks maxing at its best.
What's wrong with this one now?
Why does he think this looks good?
Boy, this is the saddest audition for a lake monster I've ever seen. Yeah, you're gonna be wet and unemployed for a while there, pal. I don't know what you're trying to show us here. That tumor on your cheek, what is that? Yeah, I see it. It looks like you have aftermarket parts in your jaw. What's going on there? What would I be quiet about? Do you not want help to remove it? I mean, you gotta start learning how to communicate there, Jawzilla. Okay, I'm assuming this is you before the tragedy, right?
Oh my god.
Okay, and this is you after taking cinder blocks to your face.
So, again, just wait, did he take Trend just to get his jaw muscles that big? Because I don't see any muscle anywhere else. You shoot Trend right into his jaw. Taking something a little too far and becoming obsessed and insane. Kind of like any other type of, I don't know, cosmetic surgery. This is cosmetic surgery for poor people. And this guy's all over the place. This is one of the, I guess, casualties of the looks maxing toxic culture. What the fuck?
Oh, is this the new Calvin Klein commercial you're in?
Why is that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not good looking, but that's quite delusional.
These days. What are you looking at here? Level up. What are you tracking here? Reveal your results. Okay, we got overall, potential, masculinity, skin quality, jawline, and cheekbones. What do they call this app? The beta meter? Is this supposed to calculate your COPE score? Oh, look at that. The results are in. Congratulations. You're a black belt in insecurity. Hold on a second. Is this what you've been doing? Is that why you look like a Ken doll that got left in the microwave? Alright, I can't look at this anymore. These people should be locked up and kept away from us. Talk to you guys later.
It is kind of hard to look at. That the delusion is what's crazy. No, where is it? Where is it? There we go.
Amazon warehouse.
Oh shit! It's the weird guy again.
Amazon warehouse is about to get raided.
No, they're
for
not.
Making these available to.
No, why? So everything he just said right there makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Amazon's about to get raided for making these plastic fucking badges available. Like, do you know who Amazon is? Do you know what they do? Do you know that they're an extension of the governmental body? That they're a control arm of the same? If they want these out there, I do honestly think that people are buying them from here who are posing as marshals. Do you honestly believe that? Are you that retarded? Okay, aside from that, though, what he does bring up is something that I was saying, that guy who showed up at the Tate arrest looked awfully Israeli or Jewish, suspiciously, the big ass nose, and they say, oh no, he's just a marshal. Yeah, but what does that mean when you're integrated? What does that mean when they've been here for a lot longer than they're letting on? Already part of the ICE, part of all kinds of other agencies that have been working with each other for at least 30, 40 years that we know of, and have been sprinkled out throughout in our country. So why would it be so crazy to think that a U.S. Marshal, whether he's a legitimate U.S. Marshal or not, showed up on that scene to arrest the Tates? Like, why was Charlie Kirk surrounded by quote unquote the same people when they were Mossad? Yeah.
Any dipshit within 24 hours of purchase.
This guy's out of his mind. Like, literally out of his mind. They call him Coach Tommy. What the fuck do you coach? Oh boy, you had. Yeah, that shows it right there. He had Stu Peters share one of his posts. Yeah.
That means they're everywhere. You know who else is everywhere? ICE agents and U.S. Marshals that look like Adam Sandler and Steven Spielberg.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. See, if you see that shit
It's the U.S. Marshals.
in your ring cam, you see fucking bullshit like that. Alright? If you get pulled over by Steven Spielberg wearing a mask, okay? You document that shit and you give that evidence to us because they are fucked.
Are you fucking nuts? To us. Who's us? So there's a little bit of intelligent, like, you know, good to know, good thought. Yes, any idiot could buy these off the internet. I don't think the Mossad or the IDF are. I think if they need to blend, I don't think they need to go to fucking what do you call it? Amazon to get them. Okay. I don't think that it's going to be difficult for them to find a uniform if they wanted to blend in. But any other random asshole, if they're trying to cause chaos, shows up at your door with a badge like that, yeah, then you'd be like, who the fuck are you? Yeah, I don't trust you. Warrant, you know, I mean, like, if it comes down to this type of shit, and then like, it's about your Facebook post, I'd be like, bring it, bitch. You know, I don't go on Facebook, but I could see how people could be scammed into opening the door to people that they shouldn't because of those types of things. But those would be smaller operators than what he's talking about. And this whole entire convoluted message of insanity and his weird mannerisms, I think he literally is insane, or he's an agent provocateur or an asset. Confidential. I don't know what the fuck he is. But it just makes me very curious. Just, come on. Spin the fucking thing, would you? Why is this guy? Look at they're sucking each other's dicks.
Indoctrinated into this. That does not mean we have to leave this situation to our children.
Yeah.
Okay. And now that people know, you have one or two options. You either get involved or get the fuck out the way. Why? Because this is a matter of not only national security.
Yeah, these guys are what you call agent provocateurs and catalysts. Right? They're trying to stir up the very thing that they have more than prepared for, and they're working on the side of the very thing that you think that you're fighting against. He's got a bunch of these from this guy. I thought that was Stu at first. Hold on.
Right, we need to have different organizations, and we are.
Oh, he's talking to the guy. Okay.
This stupid fuck implicated himself in murder. Live.
So this part, we watched this one together, and this one had a little bit more credibility to it, but it still filled with a bunch of nonsense and crazy faces. But I'm sure he's stroking himself right now because Stu Peters replayed him.
Amazon warehouses.
Anyway, what time is it? It's time for me to go on the elliptical or make an excuse to myself as to why I shouldn't. Let's see. Where would they lock up Lixmaxer? Says, oh wait, hold on. Go. Audition for a lake monster. Laugh my ass off. Good one. Karen says he's trying to make his face fit his nose. She says Amazon started in a family garage, just like all the major corporations. Ha ha ha. Yeah, right. Where would they lock him up? Said N-word. Looksmaxers. Where would they lock up Looksmaxers? Would they throw him in the grape ape cage? Oh, a trusted source. He has creepy piano music. Oh, that's a good long-standing joke there. Or what do you call it? Recurring theme joke.
Christopher Walken is a kind of enigma. He's never owned a phone, sent an email, or had a watch. But at 16, he tamed circus lions. He spent several years as a moon worshipper, and by now, the Christopher Walken story...
N-word. We gotta watch this later on. That is... It says, no wonder he terrifies everyone. He was a moon worshiper, huh? Most people don't even understand what that would even entail or what it means. They just think it's crazy. No, that's the actual cult. That's the actual cult. And so many people who have had interactions with Christopher Walken say he's creepier than the Gabriel from the prophecy character. Like he's got some sort of sick demonic presence to him. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I'm not saying I don't like his acting. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. He's very odd. A very odd man. And to think that he likes to play around with the old demonology, moon cult stuff, that just, that's such a, oh man, that's such a connection. We can't let that slide. We'll have to look at that tomorrow. All right. 12:30 a.m. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go do things and stuff. Or at least pretend that I am. I don't know what I'm actually going to get accomplished. Yeah, if you're not already, hold on. If you're not already like following the Kick thing, I don't know. That's not saying you have to, but if you have it, just like follow it so I can get to the first milestone here. And same thing with Twitch. Same thing with Twitch. How do you pause it? Fucker. There you go. Fucker. Stop pause. Oh my god. There's no fucking button. Jesus Christ. It's gonna do it again. Did I not just do that? Channel? Okay, this is where we are now. Okay, great. 2 whole followers. Anyhow. Yeah, I'm not sure how people make it on Twitch. I guess they play video games or something. Is that how you do it? You play video games and wait for somebody to wander into it and have absolutely nothing to do with their day. And just like, oh wow, look. So mitochondria have their own DNA. We'll talk about that. And I think we're going to talk about that in relation to the Bechamp Pasteur one. So I think that's going to help out. Gnosticism is a bunch of bullshit words from polemists. And this I found interesting though, because remember the lion-faced people were like the Armenians, and the Armenia was annexed by Thor and the Goths because of their constant. Well, they're loyal to the serpent wolf cult, and they were conducting raids on them constantly and being jackasses. So they annexed Armenia, the territory that is today Armenia. But they were the lion-faced people. They were actually talked about in the Indus Valley too as being the lion-faced people, and then of course people who draw things and conceptualize after the fact. They make everything to be some sort of mythological anthropomorphic creature. Well, it's not. It's not. So lion-faced serpentine deity found on a Gnostic, whatever the fuck that means, gem in Bernard Montfaucon's French bullshit depiction of Yalda Bayoth. Well, that's interesting. That would mean that Yalda Bayoth is a serpent cult guy too. Look, you got your crescent moon there. Mm-hmm. You got your morning star probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, no, it's kind of a weird looking thing. And how do they know that that's who that's depicted as? Who says so? A bunch of people who can't even determine what a pagan and a polytheist is versus somebody who venerates their human heroes. Says, now the Archon ruler, who is weak, has 3 names. The first name is Yalda Bayoth. Get out of the way. The second is Santa Claus. Literally, yes. Which is fool. And the third is Samuel, blind God. Samael. Samsung. I always thought there was a connection there. Samael and the Samsung TVs. The song of Samael, the Samsung, and in past tense. Soklos. So the fool or the what? The jester? The clown? I am God, and there is no other God besides me, and myself, and I, because I have 3 names. For he is ignorant of his strength, the place from which he had come. Okay, so that's what they're saying. He is impious in his arrogance, which is in him. For he said, I am God, and there is no other God beside me, which is exactly what they said in the Old Testament. And this is quite literally what the little demons who rape and eat babies, what they adhere to is the demiurge. Now, I'm not saying that this is a depiction of the demiurge because the sun symbol around it is throwing me off, because they weren't. If you know anything about the serpent and the serpent and the moon, the moon cult versus the sun religion of our ancestors, they're diametrically opposed. He is demiurge and maker of man, but as a ray of light from above, enters the body of man and gives him a soul. Yaldabaoth, or Yahweh, is filled with envy. Just like his people, filled with envy, disgust, and jealousy, huh? He tries to limit man's knowledge by forbidding him the fruit of knowledge in the paradise. Oh, you mean kind of like the Jews do to us? Oh, this will help you get healthy. Oh, this is your actual true history of all of the abuses we put you through. Yeah, you have to be limited in your knowledge. Otherwise, they're a lot harder to control. And it's a lot harder for you to be poisoned to death by us if you don't trust us. So, of course, we have to present ourselves as the system and as the system of health within that system of society, to where there is no questioning. This is just the one thing. It's the centralized medical, just like they have central banking, they have central government, and they have central healthcare. One voice. At the consummation of all things, all light will return to the pleroma. But Yahweh, I'll just say what he is Yahweh. Yalda Bayoth. Ya'o Sabioth. The demiurge with the material world will be cast into the lower depths. I don't think that's actually a necessary detail, because we're far, far from that if we're letting his little minions run a fucking train on us until they poison us to death or rape us to death or starve us to death or all of the above. Yaldabaoth is frequently called the lion-faced. Right, lion-faced. Probably depicting a real person at one time. And is said to have the body of a serpent. Serpent cult. That's its origins. The demiurge is also, and maybe the lion-faced would have to do with facial hair cut in a certain way, groomed in a certain way. The demiurge is also described as having a fiery nature, applying the words of Moses to him. The Lord, our God, is burning and consuming fire. Hippolytus claims that Simon used a similar description. Hippolytus, just because he has a Greek name, doesn't mean he was a Greek guy. Could have been a Jew that they taught Greek to. And Pistis Sophia, and he pissed us off at her still. Yaldabaoth has already sunk from the high estate and resides in chaos, where with his 49 demons, he tortures wicked souls in boiling rivers of pitch. He wouldn't be torturing wicked souls. he would be torturing yours. And with other punishments, he is an archon with the face of a lion, half flame and half darkness. Yeah, okay. I think a lot of these translations leave a lot to be desired. Anyhow, now I'm really gonna go. What is this? All right. I've heard something. Let's see. Have a great morning, everybody. I was in a polytheist relationship once. It didn't work out. Oh yeah, they said I like that one line. Was it in what was the name of that movie with Reese Witherspoon? I think it was called. I think it was. I don't know why the word clerks keeps on. Clueless. I think it was in the movie Clueless. They're talking about some breakup, and they're like, yeah, they separated based on religious differences. It's like, oh yeah, she thought she was God, and he disagreed. Good times. I've heard something like that. I've heard something like that. The old prophets were the same as jesters. And then Edward says, we're going to have to let our foot off the gas on farming the children of Satan. Yes. And you know what else we need to do? We need to get onto the next one, because I am about to. And I think we did a good run today. I'll have a little bit more direction for the next one. We'll start into the a little bit of the Baychamp, but we'll start it up with a couple other interesting things. I want to see that walking thing. I'll wait to have a live reaction with you, so I don't see what's coming. I'll wait for everybody, and we'll do that one. Is there twice? Oh no. There's some Charles Manson stuff here I didn't get through yet, or to get to. We can maybe go into that. But anyhow, support the show if you can. If you can't, understood. Just do all the liking and following and sharing that you should probably do. If you look over here, you'll see, please follow the Fit Wit channel, the Rumble channel for Fit Wit as well. There's a Buy Me Coffee underneath it. Wisdom Fitness YouTube is the same thing as Fit Wit, but there's one on, the YouTube, I guess, is on there twice. And then you just see all that stuff. Dr. Glidden's membership site. I'm working through all of his videos right now, and we're going to probably do some updates on some of the videos, or he's going to do some updates. I'm just going to point out the timestamps where I think that he probably would want to update it. Oh, good. We have somebody on Twitch. Holy shit. Hello, everybody on Twitch. What's up, Cracker? What's up, Cracker? You're the first one. I've only been broadcasting on here for I don't know how long. Way to go. You're probably already, Anyway, follow me on Twitch too, everybody. I want to build an army, so I don't have to work too. Just kidding. I don't think I think I can make that joke with 2 followers. All right. I do work. I actually have to. You might not see me till I don't know when, because I have to make a shit ton of hot sauce. I'm waiting for the caps to come in. Hopefully they'll be tomorrow. Yeah, but the Dr. Glidden membership site is going to be new and improved and better than ever, if I understand correctly. And I have a little bit of a task ahead of me to submit him all those timestamps from each video and the medical myth busting, and then we'll go from there. The Azure Whole Food Essential Nutrients are right there. You should totally be going to the website. So if you're not already there, scroll down here. Go to my website, which is semperfryllc.com. You still have 2 more days left for using the code PARATUS, PARATUS, for 15% off. And Dr. Glidden's membership, you can just click right there. Use code FITWIT or BALLBUSTERS for 25% off the membership. And then BB5, code for your discount at the Azure Well. This link already gives you 10% off of everything, and then you're going to get an additional discount, and you earn Azure Bucks. The Whole Food Multivitamin, must have, and I'll go into detail about why again later. The Alaskan cod liver oil, the essential fatty acids, and I learned a lot about them recently too. ALAs, EPAs, DHAs, and so on. Okay, moving. Oh, they moved the collagen. That's cool. So where's the? I'm a little confused. Oh, there it is. Cool. I'm glad it's there. Everything moves around. There's a Castile soap that Karen likes. Alaskan cod liver oil we already talked about. Okay, so this Fulvic-Humic blend is probably the most important thing on here. You will be, if you get one of these, it's 3 months and 10 days worth of a supply. So it's not something you have to get every month, but you should be getting it. Okay. Hey, whatever happened to what was his name? I think it was the name that Christopher Lee Stetler used over here, Nujersky or something like that. What happened to him? I haven't seen him in a while. You know what I'm talking about? I think everybody knows. I think it's the same guy, right? And then the IP6 Supreme with inositol. So this one, technically, you're getting 25% off because this is a 10% off site, and it's 10% off the 10% off site, making it 20% off their normal site. And then you're going to get another discount with the code BB5 at checkout. And you can use code BB5 on everything, not just the 9 essential nutrients. But this is calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus in an absorbable form. This is all your minerals. And then the essential fatty acids, which do play a big role. And I got a newfound respect for it after learning some more stuff from Dr. Glidden on his membership site. Save up to 30. Holy shit, the core coppers. What? It's only $19 right now for the core copper. Plus, you're getting a discount. Holy sh! Wow. Holy crap. That's like $10 off normal, right? Yeah, it's 28 normally. Now it's 19. Dude, I'm not really in the market to be doing this right now, but I'm going to have to get that. My daughter and I take that. That means I have to also get the freaking Whole Food Multivitamin again. God damn it. And then the pure collagens right here. Alrighty. I don't know why there's 2 there. But anyhow, you guys have a good evening. For real this time. The word is pretext. I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Did I pronounce something incorrectly? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Good night, guys.